Make enough money, buy a nice house, get an amazing car, start a family. But then what? Buy a nicer house, get a faster car. Who do I start a family with? What type of job should I get? Does it matter what I do? Where does it stop? I hope I didn't depress you too much. That wasn't my goal at all. The reason I asked these questions was to really get you thinking about your life and why we're all here, right? Specifically in America. It really doesn't matter where you are all over the world though, if you're watching this. But I think we all think about the same things in life, and I wanted to do a video that was a little bit philosophical and also kind of a journal and give you a little bit of perspective into my mind and the things that I think about when it comes to goal setting, setting financial goals, emotional goals, fitness goals. All of this will bring context into that. But for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Forrest Knight. I invest in stuff. You should too. Finances, mind, and body. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the American dream, specifically 3 different things. First, what was the American dream? What is this benchmark that we're even aiming for in the first place? 2, why you'll never be able to achieve that. Not to be depressing, that's not the point of this video, right? But no one is actually going to be able to achieve the classic old school version of the American dream, at least. And finally, what dream should we actually be trying to achieve? If it's not the American dream, then whose dream? I'll talk about that, so let's get into it. So the American dream, let's actually go back in time, maybe 70 years or so, 1950s, the most glorified part of American history, right? As a man with a family, you could go get a job, you could buy a house, you could support that family, right? And what that meant was that most people, if you just did the things that you needed to do, right? Many of the things that we talk about today, graduating high school, maybe you specified in some learning. You could become a plumber, some type of technician, right? You could become a welder. Maybe even you went into academia, pursued, an advanced level of learning and became something like an engineer. And in that time, everything was affordable. Your wife didn't have to work, right? If you had a wife, or that if you were, atypical in what they would say at that time. And it was more or less pretty straightforward what we were all trying to achieve. Basically wanted the small house, the new appliances of the time, a white picket fence, kids outside in the front yard playing baseball. You knew all your neighbors, right? Everything was great. America was the most prosperous, awesome country in the world. And that is going to bring me into point number 2 of why you'll never be able to achieve that, right? If we think about the world as it is today, if you do just the things that they tell you to do, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a bachelor's degree, right? You want to have even a small family of just 1 kid. So not even think about the family that they always portrayed back in the American dream version of reality, where you had 2, 3 kids running all over the place. You had your own little small army. Nowadays, you have 1 kid, you have a wife, right? You've done everything that they told you to do. It's really, really difficult if you're a man, right, in the example that I'm talking about, really just comparing it to the old school American dream now, to support an entire family on a single income. That's just not possible anymore unless you are doing some crazy job in tech, or you're a fancy, successful lawyer, but even your average lawyer can't do that today. It's the entire global economic landscape has completely changed. And if you look at the world, especially in the time that we're in right now, this hyper-inflationary environment, it's actually getting harder and harder. College costs, the thing that they're telling you to do, right? Go to college, get a degree to make more money. College is getting more and more expensive. Every year, are the jobs that you get after college paying more and more money? No, they're not. Housing. Homes are more expensive than they've ever been at any point in history. And then when you compare that with inflation, the decreased value of the dollar, they're even more expensive. So the real cost of housing, right, after you account for inflation and everything that, else, is even higher than it was before. Impossible. If you're in my generation, 31, and you're looking for a house in the town that you grew up in, or even just a modest house in any economy, any city where you could actually get a good job, the real cost of housing has gone up so much that it's basically impossible for you to achieve that in your early or even late 20s, right? You have to essentially get married almost out of pragmatism, right? You have to split that cost with someone. So it could be a roommate. If you want to start a family, now you're looking for someone to get married to just to split the cost of things. And honestly, that's not the reason why you should be tying yourself down to someone for the rest of your life, and certainly not creating more humans that you're responsible for just to save money. So the economic outlook for the average American today is far more of a mountain to climb than it ever has been. Now, that doesn't mean that we should just all give up hope, and this video isn't going to be long enough for me to talk about every single reason why things are the way that they are today, but I'm a pragmatic person. One of my goals and one of the things that I'm really passionate about, and why I started doing YouTube in the first place, was to try to share some of the things that helped me be more successful in my life and educate, motivate, and inform you to be able to do a little bit better in your life. So let's go ahead and race to the final thing that I want to talk about in this video, is knowing that the old school American dream is dead and is probably never going to be revived. What can we do today? So for this part of the video, I want to talk about you, your goals, your dream, your life. This isn't just some philosophical, high level, rule of thumb that may apply if everything works well. I can tell you personally in my life, when I think about and watch motivational content even, there's always the what about this, what about that, the fact that I grew up here, the fact that my life looks like this, right? So I want you to think about your life. What did you feel when you woke up today? What were the reasons why you either felt motivated, demotivated, lost, focused, right? If you felt lost, if you felt unmotivated, was it because you don't have some goal that you're trying to achieve? Was it because you don't feel like you exist for some purpose? If you felt focused, if you felt determined, was it because you were just in a good mood? Was it because there was something that you needed to do today? Right, as I'm filming this video, it's actually Father's Day. Maybe you just had a to-do list of chores, of things that you needed to do. Whatever it is, I want you to really focus on what you felt today, and then let's zoom out to the next week, 7 days of your life, and then from there, zoom out to the next 30 days, and then the next year. Knowing that you woke up today feeling some certain type of way, I want you to think about every other day. How did you feel when you woke up every other day? Was it consistent, right? Was it different? Did it vary depending on the day and what you needed to do in that day, right? Is your emotional state really what I'm getting at, depending on what it is that you may or may not be responsible for in any given day? And the reason I want to focus on that is because a lot of what we talk about when we think about achieving a dream or achieving some goal is based off of how we feel. It's all emotional, right? I want to do something because I think it's going to make me feel some way. And really what I would advocate for and try to really push into your mind is to sit down and think about the ideal version of your life, right? For me, it's waking up on a Sunday. I've always had this vision. I wake up on a Sunday in a beautiful, mountaintop, or by the beach on the water house. I look out through my floor-to-ceiling glass windows, sipping a cup of coffee. I run downstairs, jump in my 911 GT3. I go on a quick drive. The air is cool, right? Top is down. It's a convertible. Just sipping coffee, listening to some music. Go to the local coffee shop to get a cup of coffee number 2. Link up with some friends. Go back to my house. Read some reports, right? Do some research. Read about things that I really care about. And if I want to get to that version of my life, there's a lot of things that I need to do, right? I need to be able to have enough money to buy that car. I need to make sure I build relationships with people that want to meet me on a Sunday and have interesting conversations, right? I need to live in a place that has a coffee shop that I'm willing to drive to every Sunday, right? All of these things sound small and ephemeral, but when you really think about why we have these visions of our life, there's often a lot of small missing pieces that we need to fill in. And ultimately, I'm trying to get to version of my life that makes me feel a certain type of way. So the goal that we should all be trying to achieve is figuring out how we can move the needle towards what it is we fantasize about our ideal life. I'm not talking about stuff, I'm talking about our life. If you could think about the type of life that you wanted to live, the people that you interacted with every day, the routines that you went through every day, because life really is routine, right? It's not the spontaneous things that we do. All of that is fun and it rolls up into our life, but what do you want your day-to-day life to be? Who do you want to be surrounded by? And think about how you can start to work on that dream despite everything that we just talked about. Things are not going to get cheaper, right? But that means that you can still make more money. If you are interested in changing your local political landscape because that is part of your dream and you're highly impassioned today, but you haven't voted, you haven't done anything, you haven't researched who your local politicians are, you don't understand what any of your local laws are, then you can fill that gap, right? That's something that applies to really a lot of people, but you need to think about if that applies to you. If your relationship isn't how you would like it to be, but you're not doing any of the things to improve that, then that's something that you can do, right? For each of us, no matter where we are, despite what seems like an insurmountable amount of depressing information about the state of the world and war and the economy, can do a little bit better, because honestly, we're all in this together, right? If you think about what makes happy people happy versus sad people sad, we're all in the same world, guys. You know, if your neighbor who's living in the exact same apartment building as you, same town, same XYZ, is in a happy-go-lucky mood every day, despite the fact that they're in the exact same situation as you, we need to think about that, right? Our reality and our perception of it is really what determines how we feel. So, my message to you in this video is, 1, figure out what your dream is. You can think of that as goal setting. If you don't know how to do that, check out my goal setting videos, or just go check out anybody's goal setting videos. Once you have a dream and a vision and something that you know you want to achieve and you're focused on that, how you feel when you wake up every day for the next 7 days, for the next 30 days, you always have this kindling flame inside of you that is going to direct you towards what it is that you should be doing on that day. You won't wake up anymore and wonder, I have an entirely free day, but I also don't know what to do with my day because I have absolutely no direction with my life, right? You'll be guided towards and working on something every single day. And when you do have free time, you'll be excited. You'll be like, wow, I've got 6 hours. Now I can work on this thing that I know I love and I'm passionate about, and it's going to move the needle and get me towards a little bit closer towards my dream. So I hope that message hits home. My goal, again, is to help you achieve your goals, your dreams, live a financially better, emotionally better, and physically better life overall. If you're still watching at this point, please do subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button, share this with 2 of your friends. That'll help me with one of my dreams, which is having a successful YouTube channel, so I appreciate that. But that is it for this video. If you have questions, thoughts, please leave them down in the comments. I love interacting with the few of you that are here right now, and hopefully we can build this community up. Jump into my Discord, that does exist. It used to be just about finances and trading, but now it's just a general place where we can all communicate and interact with each other. But that's it for this. My name's Forrest. I invest in stuff you should too. See you in the next one.